You are not going on holiday this summer.
I got scammed by Virgin Australia. I got sold ghost flights.
If you are planning on vacationing this summer, you should buy your plane tickets now before airlines raise their prices.
The war is causing fuel shortage around the globe.
So airlines are already starting to cancel flights due to the fuel crisis.
Flights are being cancelled and tickets are getting more expensive at the same time. It's all connected to what's happening globally at the moment. So the question is, how bad is this about to get? And should you even be booking flights right now? Let's get into it.
I got scammed by Virgin Australia. I got sold ghost flights to London. On Friday night, I bought 5 tickets to London. Okay, I used my points, so I'm not out of pocket a shitload of money, but I imagine there are people who are, because right now you can still buy these flights and they are ghost flights. They do not exist. Those flights don't exist. And just last month, Qantas got fined $100 million for doing this exact same thing, but Virgin are doing it. So on Friday night, I bought 5 tickets to go to London at the end of April. 1.3 million points and $680. So I'm only out of pocket $680, but 1.3 million points is a shitload, okay? So I've done all that. Then I bought travel insurance. Then I spent $7,000 on non-refundable accommodation. And then Saturday, find out the news that on Thursday, Virgin had actually made a statement saying that these flights are all cancelled because you can't stop in the Middle East. They said that on Thursday, but on Friday on their website, I bought them. And in fact, if you go on their website right now, you can still buy them. So then I call Virgin today and they say to me, are you cancelling for all passengers? And I'm like, no, you're cancelling. These flights don't exist. You already cancelled them before I bought them. So then she puts me on hold for ages and then finally comes back and says, yes, it's okay, we'll refund you. I go through all the process to get my points back in the 680, and she says it's going to take 21 business days. So in the meantime, we're not going to London because we'd have to either go through America or China, and it's going to take like 39 hours and it's just not good to do with kids. So we're not going to do that. It's also going to cost a freaking fortune. We're going to wait until things are different at the end of this year, hopefully.
Let's see what people have to say about this experience. We had flights to London via Dubai booked for the end of April through Qantas. They cancelled the flights, said there were no options to reroute them, and the only option was to get a refund and book through another airline. Yet they had so many flights to London available on their site to purchase, and half of them were via Dubai. I swear they just wanted to give a refund, so we were forced to rebook at the higher price. 7,000 on accommodation. That would destroy me financially. Can you claim that on the travel insurance? Probably not, but that's horrible. And the creator replied, I have a big family. Accommodation always costs us. I'm hoping the place will be good about changing. Booking non-refundable accommodations in this climate is highly ill-advised. Just a word to the wise, anyone considering traveling in these times, be sure not to book non-refundable accommodation. There are so many refundable options, it isn't worth whatever you would be saving. These are uncertain times. In uncertain times, don't make certain decisions. That's definitely a good advice, guys. And to admit, I have never had that ghost tickets experience. So let me know in the comments down below if you have experienced something similar to the creator we just watched.
So airlines are already starting to cancel flights due to the fuel crisis. If the conflict in the Middle East doesn't end by the end of April, airlines across Europe may start canceling flights from May through July. The CEO of Ryanair even warned us that up to 1 in 10 flights could be cut this summer. UK airline already canceled all London flights. And right now, certain Asian airports are refusing extra flights because they simply don't have enough fuel. With the war continues, you might want to be more realistic when it comes to planning your summer vacation.
Going straight to the comments, my flight from London to Seoul was cancelled by Air China yesterday. This explains a lot. I have this booked since December and I'm panicking because I spent a lot of money booking things and I have been dreaming about visiting Korea for 9 years. I lost 1,000 on flights due to the cancellations. It turns out that if the ticket isn't fully refundable, they only refund the taxes or offer to rebook you for another date. Since I already had everything else arranged, I had no choice but to cancel and book with a different airline, and most probably for a higher price as well. I'm supposed to be flying from London to Los Angeles and my flights for next week have already been cancelled. Be careful when booking trips, the world is crazy at the moment. The one time I can take my sister somewhere and seeing her favorite K-pop group, they cancel and my flights were cancelled. This is why we shouldn't wait to travel the world. After COVID, I started traveling because we will never know when we can do it again. And yeah, now boom, I guess it's true, every few years we need to just step back and every few years we need to be active and just go anywhere. And by the way, I have a video in the channel about the energy lockdown sitting around the corner. You can go and watch it here if you want. Now let's watch an interview with Ryanair CEO and see what he has to say about the airline industry situation at the moment.
If this war continues into May or June, and the Straits of Hormuz have been blocked now for 30 days, if they remain closed for 60, 90 days, we're all facing an unknown scenario, and we are certainly looking at maybe having to cancel 5%, 10% of flights through maybe May, June and July. So I think the message from the airline industry is the sooner this war is over, the better, and the sooner we get oil supplies moving again, the better.
And if an airline is having to make difficult decisions, which routes is it likely to cancel first?
I mean, I think airlines won't have that flexibility to choose routes, Joel. We have aircraft that are based at 95 airports across Europe. And we'll have to cancel routes at whichever airport or where the fuel companies advise us we're short of Jet A1 at, say, Malaga Airport, or we're short of Jet A1 at Athens Airport. It'll be those kind of decisions. And we'll get very little notice. We'll be told, I think, within 7 days notice. So we will then look around and we will be trying to ground 1 or 2 aircraft and minimize the inconvenience for customers. But it's going to be difficult. It's going to be challenging.
What would your advice be to someone who hasn't booked for summer but would love to fly away? On the one hand, they might think book now, but on the other hand, they're thinking this is a gamble.
I don't think that much of a gamble. I would strongly advise, whether you're flying Ryanair or any other, book quickly. There's no doubt that bookings are for lots of people who would have, if in the summer had planned to go to the Gulf or fly with the Gulf carriers longer haul, are all now rebooking to go to the Portugal, France, Italy, Greece, European spots. Accommodation prices are rising, airfares are rising into peak summer. I would book your summer holidays now as quickly as you can. Yes, there's a risk, but I don't know.
That, but booking now is a complete gamble, isn't it? There's a good chance your flights will get cancelled.
Look, life is a gamble, Joel. I mean, I think we're looking at maybe the risk to 5 or 10% of cancellations in June or July, but 90% of the flights will still operate. So I think you're really not taking much of a gamble. I would be much more concerned if you delay your booking, that actually you and your family will be paying much higher prices if you get to May, June or July.
I don't have any holidays booked for the next few months just because of the war situation, but let me know in the comments down below. I'm interested to know if you have any summer vacations already booked.
EJ just made it to Dubai. I'm here. I just made it off my flight. I am okay. I am a mess right now. Unfortunately, while I was on the plane, my connecting flight to Vietnam got canceled. Dubai was just hit with missile strikes, and for the first time, I know what a missile sounds and looks like. We were over in the air for about 2 hours, and they canceled majority all flights. And you guys are gonna see in the upcoming YouTube videos how crazy it is. Our family was supposed to get married today, and now they can't make it to their wedding in Nigeria and Lagos because they canceled the flight, and my flight was canceled. I am a mess because the reality is setting in that we are actually in war. That's 1. 2, I am now in the middle of the conflict. 3, I've seen and heard what a missile sounds like. So 4, and I'm staying here overnight in the middle of a conflict. At any point, I could get hit with a missile as well. So I'm not okay. Just finished bawling my eyes out.
And there are thousands of people like him stuck in the middle of the conflict. Before we move to the next clip, I would really appreciate if you subscribe to the channel. It means a lot. Thank you.
I'm currently sat in Heathrow Airport and I was supposed to go travelling for 3 months, but I'm on my way home. My flight's been cancelled, and most flights are absolutely, if you're going like Asia way, you ain't getting there, mate. So my flight got cancelled, I was supposed to go from here to Delhi to Nepal. All Indigo flights. I'm not running for like the next 5 days. I'll just get another flight. Went on Emirates. There was flights available, but you have to fly to Dubai, then change in Dubai, and then go to like Nepal, or I was going to go to Bangkok. But went to their desk, they said if you're not a resident in Dubai, you can't even just change. So, yeah, on my way home, I'm not complaining because there is a war. Like, it's such a third world problem, but I don't know, has anyone else had this problem? I still want to go travelling, but I don't know, do I wait another week or two? I reckon it's probably going to get worse.
Our flight home to the UK is cancelled, so we're going to Bali for a few weeks now. We're the exact opposite situation. And the creator replied, not a bad place to be stuck. All we can do is wait and see. I agree, I have never been to Bali, but I believe this is definitely a good place to be stuck. It's crazy, mate. I was supposed to fly to Bangkok Monday, which got cancelled, then got one for today, which got cancelled yesterday. Now I have a flight on Sunday if it doesn't get cancelled. We will see what happens. Hope you sort it out. Now let's see one example where people are stuck for days in Florida airport because of the TCA being on a strike.
So it's day 3 of being stuck in Florida after coming back from my St. Thomas trip. They said it's something to do with TSA and air traffic control going on like a partial strike. So they have canceled over 2,000 flights in the last couple of days. And because at first they said it was the weather. Well, just the weather. So in the last 2 days, I have booked 3 flights, and they've all been canceled. Last night, I got on a flight at like midnight, and then they said they didn't have anywhere to land. So flight got canceled. So I ended up just booking a room for the next 2 days because they said I have another flight attempt today at like 2, but I kept my room just in case, because sleeping in the airport, it looks like a homeless camp out there. It's so many families out there just stranded. So definitely keep us in your prayers, and have a good one.
The latest news about the strike is that the Trump administration is actually planning to slash over 9,400 TSA workers and a little over $1.5 billion from the agency that manages airport security operations. And it was also mentioned that federal immigration agents will be used to assist with handling long airport security lines. To be honest, this doesn't seem like the greatest plan to me, but let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. 3 days stuck out of town would be a nightmare, cause I can't afford to miss days of work, cause that means days missing out my check. Partial government shutdown, but no one is talking about it. TSA hadn't been getting paid, so people have been quitting or not going to work. I am also not going to work if I'm not getting paid. I don't blame them, but the whole thing is such a mess. It isn't a strike. Homeland Security aren't getting paid, so TSA aren't getting paid. Partial shutdown of the government. It's a shame, and I hate it for them and people who are stuck. There is a partial government shutdown that nobody seems to have let the public know. Air traffic controllers are not affected, so they are still working. Pilots and other TSA staff have been working without pay for a month. Situation is not good, especially with gas so high. Yes, and by the way, I have another video in the channel about the crazy gas prices. You can go and watch it here if you want. And gas prices are just the beginning. I think everything else will just follow with massive price increases. They will not always tell the truth about problems with airlines.
So we were supposed to be travelling to Bali with Qatar Airways. Now, we were due to travel in May, which I know is a good few weeks away, but it has been impossible to look forward to the trip. Like, we should be super excited about going, but we just aren't. And I know that things might be better by May, but I just can't enjoy the build up to going. And all I've been doing for the past few weeks is worrying about flight cancellations, if we'd actually even make it, what money would we lose, etc, etc. Also, if things do settle and we were to travel, all I'd be doing is start worrying about it all kicking off again and us getting stuck in Bali, because let's face it, that would just be our luck. So after it was announced the other day that we could get a full refund on travel up until the 15th of June, I jumped at the chance to get a refund. Now, I've heard people have had bad experiences trying to get through to Qatar Airways, but I thought that they were pretty good. So I called on Friday around 10 a.m. I used the number from the Qatar Airways app, and it took me around an hour to get through. They said I was eligible for the full refund, gave me a refund ID, and said it will take up to 28 days to process, which I think is pretty standard.
Okay, we buy tickets, they take the money straight away, but then for the refund we have to wait at least 28 days. This doesn't seem like a fair deal to me. Let's see what people have to say about it. I'm booked for South Korea 11-29 May. My flight out changed by 30 minutes, but return flight cancelled. I'm so confused. Why return and not outbound? Why does it take 1 day for Qatar to take your money from you, but it takes 28 days to pay you back? Exactly. My return flight from Bali got cancelled. Rebooked for today. Just got to airport and was now rescheduled to tomorrow. Zero duty and care here. Pathetic services. Now, in the second part of the video, we will see few real examples on how much actually the flight tickets have increased during the last few years and what will the future be.
You are not going on holiday this summer. And if you were smart enough to have booked your trip before the oil crisis, if you were smart enough to have booked your trip before the oil crisis, I hope you're going to be prepared for the likelihood of a fuel surcharge hitting your booking. Yes, even if you've already paid. You see, as reported by the Business Insider and many others, I'm going to read the report here directly, but airlines are cutting routes and cancelling flights worldwide, with some carriers grounding planes or reducing schedules altogether. And of course, with this, already tens upon thousands of flights have already been affected globally. And of course, this is because fuel is just too expensive right now and just way more difficult to access in certain regions. And so if you haven't booked your holiday yet, be prepared for it to cost 3 times or more than it would have if this oil crisis was not taking place. And this is actually where things get messy, because it's also been reported that airlines and companies will likely introduce a fuel surcharge on new bookings and adjustments on existing bookings depending on the costs. And this will especially be likely if you booked via package holidays or cruises.
Okay, raising ticket prices is one thing, but making adjustments on already paid tickets, that's another level. Both it is. Thank God I've got my van so I can still get to Italy. Going by train. I mean, I just rode in bed all summer. We're driving to Italy with the car. Fuel prices are gonna make it cost even more expensive. Unlucky.
If you are planning on vacationing this summer, you should buy your plane tickets now before airlines raise their prices, if they haven't already. The war in Iran is just completely destroying gas prices, and it's even worse for jet fuel. Today is April 2nd, and this article is already a week old, but United Airlines is warning that airfare could jump 20% as oil prices continue to surge because of the war in Iran. Now, plane tickets are already expensive, and they might go up another 20%. The airline industry is going to struggle. In addition to raising prices, United says they are also cutting flights. United CEO says their annual fuel bill could rise by 11 billion. 11 billion. 11 billion is more than twice the profit of their best year. And they're going to be paying that just in fuel prices. How great are we again? United is just one carrier, but the outlook is even worse for smaller carriers like Spirit, Frontier, Southwest. As if traveling isn't already a nightmare, it's going to get worse.
Another airline just announced it's raising its checked bag fees again. So here's what's changing for United Airlines, and it's a little bit complicated, so I'll break it down for you. Your first checked bag is $45. The second one is $55. And if you wait until the last minute, like the same day of your flight, there's a $5 fee on top of that. But there is some good news. If you bought your ticket prior to today, you're actually locked into the old prices. And some travelers can dodge the fees altogether if they're a part of a rewards program, have one of the credit cards, active military, or if they're sitting in a premium cabin. It's also worth noting that JetBlue is doing something very similar, citing higher fuel costs. So airlines are getting very creative with these fees. So I want to know, are you team carry-on or are you still checking bags?
Remember when checked bags were free? I'm just not flying anymore. It's ridiculous. Glad I got to travel in the good old days. Thank you for the info. So exhausted by the greed. When airlines costs rise, they will always transfer those costs to us, the travelers, in order for them to keep the same level of profits or even increase their profits.
The war is causing fuel shortage around the globe. I was writing down plane ticket prices in February. A ticket from Vietnam to South Korea at that time was $75, and I'm talking about a one-way ticket for each person, $75. Now we're in Vietnam, we got ready to go to South Korea. I looked at the plane tickets, the price went up to $350 each person one way. So that's a 367% roughly price increase. Now that's due to the fuel shortage as a result of this war. Now in some countries in Asia, we were supposed to head over to the Philippines as well, but then we changed those plans because of the rain. But then I just came to find out that their government is actually considering grounding some planes because of this fuel shortage and the prices. And a lot of flights are being canceled because of this as well. So I'm realizing that the reality is that we may just be stuck here for a little while, but Quy Nhon, Vietnam is not a bad place to be stuck.
Asia is the first to experience the energy shocks, and it will be followed by Africa and Europe. So for those of you who plan to travel to those destinations, keep in mind that prices might skyrocket. Yep, from Bangkok to Singapore, it cost me 200 recently, and when I looked a while ago, it was around 70. So that's a 300% increase. Asia, then Africa, then Europe, then America. If you don't leave by mid-April, it's gonna cost you $1 million to go home.
So we're flying to DC on Saturday, and I bought these tickets almost a year ago, and I literally got 6 tickets for about $1,200. So that's about $200 each. Really good deal, and that's for a round trip. Just for fun, I just looked at the exact same flight, what it would cost if I bought them today, which granted the trip's in a few days, so obviously it's gonna be more expensive, but it's $818 per ticket. That is crazy. I've seen flights go up closer to, but it's really maybe like if it went from 200 to like 450, but yeah, $818 if you want to fly to DC on Saturday.
So that's a 400% increase for a domestic flight.
Have you guys seen how expensive these flights to DR are for the summertime? I just checked because you know me, I like my little escapes to DR. $800 plus. Last time I checked, Christmas was in December, not the months of June, July, or August.
Going straight to the comments. It's because of what is going on with the gas and oil, and I had to completely cancel my vacation. It's too expensive. Even in the dead season is expensive. Last year I paid $350 in Delta for November, and now they're around $600. It's crazy. I definitely agree with your prices have been getting out of control, really. Thought it was just me feeling that way. But it's clear a lot of us are noticing it too. Yes, I checked well before this gas situation, and still much more expensive than the norm. So that's all I've got for today for you guys. I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments down below. If you found this episode useful, please leave it a like and subscribe for more. The algorithm thinks you will like this video as well. See you in the next one.